All I can say is, sure, there's a cut. It's done. I have a cut. I have a bunch of them. So it's not like that's up to them. We are here. That statement was made by Zack Snyder in 2019 at a Director's Cut fundraiser event that a fan recorded. And from that point, there was confirmation that whether it was an assembly cut, whether it was something that was actually done, we did not know that now this would be something that would be a reality. Maybe 10 years down the road, maybe never. But now, upon us, in this review, is going to be on Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, what did I think about it? I'm going to be very quick about this because I will be doing multiple different reviews on this. It will be a spoiler-filled review. There will be a review with Lucas. It's non-spoiler as well, talking about the good, the bad, and everything in between. But this is my unadulterated, non-spoiler review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, visually, it was amazing. Like, dare I say, one of the most comic booky, like, visual immersive experience that I've had in a long time, probably since what, Marvel did with Infinity War and Endgame. On that scale, on that level, as far as a DC property. Because one of the things that DC has done very well is kind of set up these really weird and interesting explorative narratives in these world immersive situations. But this one, it takes the taco. So what they did was, I think they gave $70 million added for Zack to be able to establish some of the reshoots and polish up the rest of the VFX that need to be done. But the principal photography was baseline done for a good amount of the actual film. So big bulk of this was, I think it was on his computer, and he kind of had to resharpen it, retool it. And he also changed the aspect ratio to 1:33. But as far as any of the action scenes in this one, they look great. Whether it is Steppenwolf in the way he actually looks, where his armor just continuously moves, whether it is the way that Cyborg actually looks and the way that he actually looks and moves, whether it's the action sequences. One of the things that we've been waiting for probably since BVS is to see Batman completely unleashed, but right beside the Justice League. And they give him his just rewards. This is redemption, absolutely, from the look, the aesthetic, and the world that, Zack allowed Ben to go and fly through. But also, in addition to that, in the way that they actually allow Superman as well. One thing that I find very fascinating is the expansion of the world. Because in this one, as you've seen from the trailers, there is, of course, Steppenwolf, there is the DeSaad, there is a Darkseid, there is an apocalypse, there is a amazing sequence that is a history story. And I think that they run amok with this. They do not hold back whatsoever. This is, again, what I would express this, if you can't get anything through from what I'm going to say at this point moving forward, is that this is a graphic novel come to life. If you literally started from a pivot point and then went to the end of it after 3 or 4 volumes of one arc, that is the culmination of this film. The way they actually designed it, though, it's in 6 different chapters, and I think that if you want to kind of just start this with a loved one or a friend or whatever, like stop right at around like chapter 4, and then kind of leave it off and then go back to it, or take an intermission break of 10 minutes. I did that. I've seen this movie now a total of 2.5 times. I haven't finished the second half yet, so it'll be 3 eventually tomorrow. But yeah, but there's progressionally a scene specifically towards the third act that I felt like the CGI wasn't the best, and it kind of like it didn't necessarily mesh, nor was it supposed to. So just for clarificational purposes. But again, I would also sway you to approach your expectations very carefully. Like, so serious. Like, don't over bombard yourself with expectations just because this is a 4-hour film. Because, just so you understand, Zack planned and plotted it 2 other films. And there's whiteboards to even prove it. I think that most of them you can find on Twitter, which I haven't actually read, and I'm not going to. But just know that to tailor your expectations. But as far as my experience with it, I would say that after seeing it the first time and watching it again, it didn't feel like I was looking at a 4-hour film again. It was more so like, this is a digestible situation because I really wanted to see more. What did they do as far as with the actors? There's a lot of interesting surprises in that. But if you've been following along with what Zack has been saying for years, then you don't have any surprises whatsoever. I will say that. Like, if you're thinking, oh, well, this one character is going to be here, no. The established people that are supposed to be in this film are the established people that are actually in this film. Unless you just haven't been absorbed to all the different things that Zack has thrown at us as far as video posts and other different actors saying anything. So there's not any surprises here. But what they do with the cast, the characterization and the allowing to them to breathe and having moments of levity, like character like Ray Fisher's Cyborg, honestly is... He benefits from this film so much. They do such great work with his character. And not just that, the way that Chris Terrio actually did the script and the screenplay for this, there's so many quotable lines. And it actually fleshes out so much more organically that it allows you to be engaged even in moments where it's kind of like nothing's really going on. And I think that, honestly, that they do a really good job with pretty much all the different actors. Ezra Miller, I think some of the quirkiness with him, some people are going to like it, some people are not. To be quite honest with you, like, it's either a give or take. Not on the heights of what they did with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, but I think that some people are going to like it, some people are probably not. But what they do with the Flash... as a fan and as a reader, like, I love what they did with that. Now, as far as the actual plot, I think that the plot in and of itself is something that I think from a narrative standpoint, if you've seen, the theatrical and you see certain pivot points, there's a lot that you don't know that actually was in the Justice or theatrical that Zack did shoot. And you'll be pleasantly surprised by that, for good or for bad. But I think that the things that they kept in this and the things that they decided to just throw out of there, these reshoots that were really, this movie will show you how unnecessary some scenes and some changes that just really didn't have to happen, because this movie actually has natural humor that doesn't have to feed onto one thing left or right. And I think the progression of the way that the story arc goes, if you take your time with it and just hang on for the ride, I think that you will pleasantly be surprised with it. Structurally, though, as a critic, I think that there are certain narrative choices they actually make that are just shoehorned in there that aren't necessary. There's some long, drawn-out scenes I think that aren't necessary, but from an artistic standpoint and from a progressional standpoint, I think that it does allow you to breathe and allow you to be able to continuously enjoy and progressively see where these characters go. But there is moments where I feel like there's a lot of light, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of empathetic, emotional, immersive moments that I was desperately wanting. This is the film that I wanted in 2017 that now we're finally getting, and I think that regardless if there's any more left or not, I would say I would love to see a lot more. There is a huge cliffhanger on this. I would rest this at a 9 out of 10, and I think that you're going to have a very interesting time with this film, no matter what. No matter if you kind of love what Zack has done in the past, or you're kind of jaded with it. I think that from the immersive experience of it, it's unlike anything you've seen before. This is an event film, and I think as such, know what you're getting into. Know that there are moments that, you're not going to get anything brand new. You're not going to get anything super surprising necessarily, especially if you've been keeping track of everything that's going on narrative-wise. There are things that I feel like they didn't necessarily have to kind of space out. There are things from the previous one that you would be surprised are actually in this one, but everything else is so good, and you're going to so enjoy it, and I think you're going to gush over the comic booky DC aesthetic behind what Zack was able to establish in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.